Lavash is the most famous and beloved type of bread in Armenia. Lavash is not just a bread. For us Armenians, long ago lavash has become the bearer of our identity, culture, and history. The baking of lavash is a whole ceremonial ritual, the most important component of which is the dough making. The baking of lavash is a sacred ceremony for Armenians, and that is why the Armenian female whispers blessing or pronounces kind words before preparing the dough. She believes that the dough has a magic power and memory, and the kind wishes will come true. By the way, traditionally, ferments are not used for making the dough for lavash. Only leaven is used. The leaven is a small portion of dough which is kept for a long period from the previous baking and went sour, and thus become natural yeast. An Armenian woman always makes a cross on the top of the dough when she finishes the preparation process. Thus, she makes a wish to make all people healthy who eat the lavash made from that dough, and desires that lavash will be used during happy ceremonies. Then the dough is left to have a rest for a small period of time, after which the lumps from dough are made. Commonly, the lavash baking process is a group work, in which 3-5 women participate. Each woman has its own obligation. The first one prepares the dough, the second one makes lumps, the other kneads it, and the last one bakes. Traditionally, lavash is baked in tonir. Tonir is a cylindrical clay oven dug in the ground. From the ancient times to the daily life, Armenians used to have clay tonirs. Armenia is rich with clay. Consequently, the pottery was developed here, and one of the branch of it is the tonir making. Tonir is made separately, baked and strengthened. After all these procedures, it is placed in the ground. Tonir making process is an exact handicraft, on which depends not only tonir's quality, but also the food which is prepared in it. Generally, Armenian flavor and scent is passed to every dish which is cooked in tonir. Armenian skillful masters who make tonirs pass their experience, skills, and knowledge to the younger generation through the centuries. Alongside with the cobwall tonir, the brick wall tonir has also entered our daily life. It is noteworthy that Armenians do not replace or fill with ashes the tonirs, even if the latter were not in use. They believe that the replacement of tonir is the same as to demolish your own home. Traditionally, the obligations of men and women are clearly separated and distinguished during the process of bread baking. For instance, the fire making in tonir is exclusively the obligation of man. The wood and the branches of vine are more often used during the lighting of tonir. Tonir is used to light not only with the firewood, but also with the fuel emerged after the corresponding processing of the manure. The process of lavash baking starts when the temperature in tonir is appropriate and the fire calms down. It is interesting that the lavash baking process is not trusted to every woman, and not every woman can enter into the bakehouse. The skillful, healthy, happy women that have very good family can participate in the lavash baking process, as the dough absorbs the energy and emotions of the humankind and then passes to the people who eat it. The young girls pass the dough lumps that have already been prepared, and thus the transfer of the lavash baking traditions to the next generations is maintained. The conversation and talks are natural during the lavash baking process. It is interesting that baking house transforms into a place where linguistic traditions and beliefs are shared.
Նստում էի թոնդրի կողքին, նայում էի, ոնց է իմ տատիկս լավաշ թխում։ Տատիկիս ավանդույթն եմ կատարում։ Տատիկս երբ որ թխում էր, պատամ էր թույլ էր խփում, թե ինչ կրակը շատ ուժեղ էր լինում։ Լավաշը ընկնում էր ներքև, կուտ էր լինում։
Ընդհանրապես ասում են, որ եթե հացը կուտ է գնում, ապա այդ հացը չեն ուտում։ Դա բերում է դժբախտություն, ասինքն կարող է մահանալ կինը կամ ամուսինը։ Սակայն լավաշը միևնույնն է, դա հաջողություն է բերում։
There is an impression that lavash baking process is a very easy job, while following the gentle and skillful movements of Armenian women. In fact, it requires skills, experience, strength, and love. They literally make dough dance in their hands, very quickly put it on a special cushion, heat on the wall in one stroke, and finally take it out from tonir with a special instrument. This is quite a serious issue. The tasting of lavash starts in the bakehouse. You do not need lots of food for tasting: cheese, onion, and greenery. This is how the Armenian variant of fast food is made, bërtuq. Men add also a cup of wine or vodka to the tasting process. It is impossible to pass indifferently by the bakehouse when lavash is baked, and the scent of fresh bread is spread in neighborhood. It is a tradition to entertain people who are at the right place at right time, as well as have a sincere conversation with strangers who are not strangers anymore, because they have shared the bread with them. The common meal means to pass the line of non-acquaintance. Lavash is baked almost in every part of Armenia, except in some regions of Tavush and Lori provinces. It is interesting that lavash is distinguished by its size, thickness, shape, and kneading way. For instance, in Syunik and Vayotsar provinces of Armenia, a special thin rolling pin called ochlav is used, which makes the dough much thinner, and the thickness at the center and edges of lavash is equally the same. The lavash baked here is considered as the high expression of Armenian lavash baking skill. Lavash is the most long-lasting bread. In some villages, it is baked at the end of autumn for the whole winter and in quantity. On the other hand, lavash baking process is labor-intensive and time-consuming production, and that is why until present, people used to bake lavash for a long period in order to save not only fuel, but also working labor. Lavash is baked for a couple of months, while in summer, once in 2 weeks. Lavash is kept in dry condition, and in case of usage, water is sprayed on it and left for a while, which recovers the freshness of lavash. Armenians use lavash as just a bread, for making a wrap, and as a spoon. For instance, Armenians used to crumble lavash in chash and several other traditional dishes, and instead of spoon, they use lavash. People used to prepare panrachash, which is made of lavash, cheese, and fried onion in Shirak province. Lavash has also ceremonial significance. It is considered to be the symbol of fertility and welfare. Due to this reason in past and in present, lavash is put down on the shoulders of bride and groom, and a wish is made, always to have bread and comprehend the honor of bread. Until present, lavash is cut down with hands because it is believed that bread shouldn't be sliced by a sharp instrument. However, in the urban environment, lavash is sliced by a knife or special scissors. Armenians believe that lavash has also curing characteristics. That is why in former times, a baker sent the fresh bread to the house where there was an ill person, being confident that lavash would pass its power to the patient in order to cure him as soon as possible. Today, lavash is used in the traditional medicine. For instance, a lavash which was soaked into the sweet water is put on the places where the person has pains. Lavash continues to be the beloved bread in spite of the fact that many changes took place in the mode of life of Armenians. The modern technologies, electric stoves, etc. are applied in order to fasten the lavash baking process and increase industrial quantities, as it has already become a branch of industry. However, lavash, which is baked in tonir, doesn't have any competitors. The seller mentions that lavash is baked in tonir if he or she wants to outline the quality.